What is good, fam? Drake just caught an $8 million reality check that proves the OVO owl is officially on life support right now. You can post all the vacation pictures and private jet flexes you want, but the paperwork does not lie to anyone. Internal court documents from June 23, 2026 reveal that the OVO apparel unit suffered a massive $8 million loss. This happened in 2024, despite the company bringing in $72 million in sales. Bringing in $72 million and still being $8 million in the hole is almost impossible unless the wheels are falling off the entire operation.
ARI sues Drake, October's very own OVO, following default, forbearance, and alleged non-payment of millions in contractual obligations. Now, this is telling y'all already off. The filed complaint references financial information provided by OVO during the financing process, indicating that OVO generated approximately $72 million in revenue during 2024, while sustaining approximately $12 million in cumulative losses between 2022 and 2024.
The brand has been quietly circling the drain since 2022, when management originally warned staff that growth was hitting a brick wall. They knew the hype was dying long before Kendrick Lamar stepped on their necks and finished the job. This is not just a bad quarter or a little dip in the charts, but it is a total rejection of the lifestyle Drake spent a decade building. The whole movement is now being exposed as a money pit that is swallowing cash faster than a rigged slot machine. We are breaking down why Drizzy is currently in bailout mode and trying to offload half his company before the ship sinks entirely. The internal court documents from June of 2026 are like an autopsy report for a brand that thought it was untouchable.
OVO defaulted, formally acknowledged the debt, and continued defaults under a written forbearance agreement, made only a partial repayment, and now disputes millions ARI alleges remain contractually owed.
Losing $8 million in a year where you move $72 million in product is actually impressive in a bad way. It means for every dollar they brought in, they were spending way too much on things that did not matter. The lifestyle Drake built was based on the idea that everything he touched turned to gold, but the reality is that the gold was just spray paint on a sinking boat. Since 2022, the growth numbers have been flat or falling, which is a nightmare for an apparel brand that relies on being the hottest thing in the streets. You can only sell so many hoodies to your loyal fan base before you need to reach a wider audience, and that wider audience has officially moved on.
For a lot of these artists, that dream didn't exactly pan out. The pattern was always the same: a Drake cosign, a lot of early buzz, and an effort from Drake to push his new artists. For whatever reason, things always went cold.
This is a total collapse of the OVO dream, and it shows that the owl is no longer the predator in the forest. Now we have to talk about the move that really shows how desperate things have become at the embassy. Drake is reportedly in advanced talks to sell a 50% stake in OVO to Authentic Brands Group, which is the same company that specializes in buying up struggling retail ghosts like Forever 21 and Barney's. This is not a strategic partnership between two giants, and industry analysts are calling this a bailout in disguise because OVO simply lacks the infrastructure to survive the current market shift. By selling 50% of the brand, Drake is effectively surrendering his creative control for a quick cash infusion to cover his mounting overhead.
Public reporting has indicated OVO is engaged in discussions involving a potential transaction in which Authentic Brands Group may acquire 50% ownership. Okay, so I did see this, that he's trying to sell 50% ownership and stake in the business.
This is the corporate equivalent of waving the white flag and admitting you cannot handle the business on your own. My original take is that Authentic Brands Group will turn OVO into a strip mall clearance brand and strip away the luxury facade to recoup that $8 million loss. We have seen this movie before with other brands that lost their soul to big corporate conglomerates. They take the logo, they lower the quality of the materials, and they put it in every department store until the brand name means absolutely nothing. This move confirms that the OVO name no longer carries the weight it did before the Not Like Us era turned the brand into a global punchline.
Why is this ARI company not got their money back for a small, measly $5 million if he got 400 of them? The numbers are not making sense.
Kendrick Lamar did more than just win a rap battle because he actually managed to devalue the entire OVO brand in the eyes of the public. Nobody wants to walk around with a logo that people associate with losing and being out of touch with the culture. The Authentic Brands Group deal is the way Drake is cashing out before the owl becomes completely worthless. He is trying to get ahead of the collapse by letting a corporate giant take over the logistics and the debt. Selling half your company to a group like Authentic Brands is the ultimate sign of failure for someone who prides themselves on being a mogul. These people are the vultures of the retail world, and they wait for a brand to get desperate before they milk the name for every last cent.
You talk about all this other shit, man. You sending jets to this 500K. Take the jet, man. Take it to Toronto. Just bring it back when you're done. And meanwhile, all this shit happening? Really? This is what we doing?
Drake is surrendering the very thing that made OVO special, and now it belongs to a corporate board that cares more about margins than hip-hop culture. This is the beginning of the end for the owl as we know it, and it is happening because the money ran out and the reputation followed right behind it. Selling 50% of your namesake means you are admitting the brand is a distressed asset that needs to be liquidated. This confirms that the Drake era of business dominance is over for good. Everything gets even more embarrassing when you dive into the court papers filed by Applied Real Intelligence. This group is dragging the owl through the dirt because of a $3.7 million loan that fell apart in early 2026.
ARI sues Drake, October's very own OVO, following default, forbearance, and alleged non-payment of millions in contractual obligations. Now, this is telling y'all already off.
You're not signing $400 million deals and you need a $5 million loan.
According to the filings, OVO defaulted on that debt because they could not even handle the interest payments on time. That is a massive red flag because you do not miss payments on a few million. If you actually have the $100 million bag you keep bragging about. It looks like the embassy was running on empty while Drake was out here throwing away millions on gambling streams. He finally paid back the $3.7 million principal in May, but the lenders are not letting him off the hook yet. They are coming for another $3.8 million in make-whole fees as a penalty for breaking the deal. The real mess here is that Applied Real Intelligence claims OVO went behind their backs to negotiate with Authentic Brands Group. It seems like Drake was trying to sell off half the house while the bank was already starting the foreclosure process. Shady business moves like that are exactly how you get blacklisted by the real players in the industry.
Everybody adds a zero to whatever number. If it's a net worth, somebody adding a zero. If you want to see somebody real net worth, take a zero off. That's their real net worth.
You cannot try to sell your company in secret when you still owe millions to your creditors. But the court documents suggest that is exactly what happened. OVO is trying to save face in the Toronto courts, but the Vancouver countersuit from June 11th of 2026 already exposed how desperate they really are. When your own lawyers are basically showing the world that you are broke, the whole luxury lifestyle image is officially dead. Maintaining a billionaire aesthetic on a budget that is shrinking every single day was never going to work out. Before we move on and see how Kendrick physically devalued the whole OVO brand at the store level, tell me what y'all think about Drake's lawyers basically snitching on his finances. Is that luxury billionaire image officially dead now that the receipts show they are millions in debt? Tell me in the comments. No cap. While you at it, like and subscribe. Let's continue. The financial hits are one thing, but the damage Kendrick Lamar did to the brand is actually much worse because he physically devalued the stores. This was not just some internet memes because people actually showed up to his businesses to make a statement. Over a dozen OVO locations got vandalized during the peak of the beef, and the flagship store in London was even tagged with "They Not Like Us" graffiti in broad daylight. Having your spot on Carnaby Street turn into a billboard for your rival is a level of humiliation you just do not recover from easily. It proves the owl logo is not a status symbol anymore, and instead it has become a target for anyone who thinks Drake is a culture vulture.
OVO defaulted, formally acknowledged the debt, and continued defaults under a written forbearance agreement, made only a partial repayment, and now disputes millions ARI alleges remain contractually owed.
His legal team is still trying to fight that defamation suit, but their January 2026 appeal is being laughed at by anyone who knows the law. The lawyers for Universal Music Group really went for the throat in their response by comparing Drake to a boxer who got his clock cleaned. They said he is like a fighter who challenged the champion and then tried to sue for battery once he lost the match. That is some of the most savage language I have ever seen in a legal filing, and it shows the industry is tired of the sore loser energy. Wearing an OVO shirt has become a massive liability in the streets because nobody wants that toxicity on them. Fans are switching sides to the winner, and that is directly leading to that $8 million loss for the brand. When your own label is mocking your legal strategy and your stores are getting trashed, the damage is permanent. Drake is learning the hard way that you cannot buy back a reputation once the people decide they are finished with you. That music was supposed to be the life raft for his entire brand, but the art turned out to be a bloated mess that could not save the sinking ship. On May 15, 2026, Drake tried to flood the zone with a massive triple album release featuring Iceman, Maid of Honor, and Habibti. Even though Iceman hit the #1 spot with 463,000 units, the companion albums were almost universally panned as repetitive and lazy.
For a lot of these artists, that dream didn't exactly pan out. The pattern was always the same: a Drake cosign, a lot of early buzz, and an effort from Drake to push his new artists. For whatever reason, things always went cold.
Habibti earned a pathetic 4 out of 10 from major critics who were exhausted by the same formulaic sound he has been pushing for years. This musical failure was the final blow because it proved he cannot move the culture with just a high volume of tracks anymore. People are finally waking up to the fact that quantity does not equal quality, and his numbers are starting to reflect that massive fatigue. To make an already bad situation worse, his personal gambling habits are draining the company coffers faster than the clothing line can even hope to fill them. Back in 2025, he reportedly wagered a staggering $125 million on stake in a single month of betting. He finished that month with a net loss of $8.2 million, which matches the exact amount OVO lost in bailout during that same time frame. It is truly nasty work to realize he gambled away the exact amount his clothing brand lost in a whole year of operation. This shows a complete lack of discipline at the top and suggests the money is being treated like play money instead of real business capital. The June 2026 dismissal of the Spotify lawsuit regarding those bot stream allegations does not actually clear his name in the eyes of the public. It just highlights how much noise and controversy are surrounding every single one of his career wins these days.
Everybody adds a zero to whatever number. If it's a net worth, somebody adding a zero. If you want to see somebody real net worth, take a zero off. That's their real net worth.
People are looking at every stream and every chart position with a magnifying glass because the trust in his organic reach has completely vanished. The final verdict on this situation is that OVO is no longer a culture-shaping brand that defines what is cool in the streets. It has transitioned into a distressed asset that is being liquidated just to pay for a lavish lifestyle that he can no longer afford on his own. Selling 50% of his life's work to Authentic Brands Group is the ultimate white flag of surrender. It is the moment he has to admit to the world that he cannot run a serious business without a corporate daddy to bail him out. My prediction is that by 2027, OVO will be relegated to the same bargain bins as those generic mall brands Kendrick Lamar warned us about. You are going to see the owl logo at the back of a discount store, right next to the off-brand sneakers and the clearance racks. Drake loses for good in this scenario because he lost the one thing that all the money in the world cannot buy back once it is gone. He lost the belief from the fans that OVO is actually his very own vision and not just a corporate shell company used to hide his debts. The culture can smell the desperation from a mile away, and it is coming directly from the embassy. Before we move on and see how the rest of the industry reacts to this total corporate collapse, tell me what you think about this move. Tell me in the comments if you think Drake is officially washed as a businessman, or if this deal with the Authentic Brands Group can save the owl. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next breakdown. Let us continue with the rest of the story.